Welcome. I'm Carol Caprio, an LPC, and you're watching a New Life Counseling podcast where we talk about things that are mental health related. Today, we're going to talk about how to deal with the stress of the holidays. And to help me do that, I have Melissa Lawver. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's an LPC supervisor, and she's a clinical director at Historic Coaching and Counseling in Grapevine. Thanks for joining me today, Melissa.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here with you. I think as I think about facing the holidays, I think it's really important to me to always be authentic and just say that even though I'm a therapist, I also feel the stress of the holidays, just like everyone else. And I'm sure you do as well, Carol. We're not above that. But what's really cool is that we have been able to identify ways to be really intentional during the holidays to manage the stress so that the stress doesn't manage us.
So true.
Absolutely. So let's think about a few ways that we can really be intentional this year as we enter this season so that we can have good self-care mentally, relationally, and physically with our bodies. So I think the first thing that comes to mind when I think about preparing for the holidays and managing the stress is checking your expectations about the holiday season. I know it's true for me. Early in my adult life, I had some really unrealistic expectations of myself and of the season. I really wanted everything to be perfect. I had this idea that somehow I was going to have the perfect family and my house was going to be decorated like Martha Stewart came over and took care of everything for me. And I wanted to have matching Christmas pajamas and the perfect photos and beautiful presents. And I wanted to go to all of the church events and all of the holiday parties. And several years into motherhood, I realized that I was being ridiculous. There's no better way to put it. I just put too much pressure on myself to cram too much into my schedule during the holidays. And I really realized that my expectations were what was causing the stress and the disappointment that I was feeling about this time of year. And I think that a lot of people, just like me, have unrealistic expectations, and we really need to be intentional about checking our expectations and making sure that they match the capacity that we actually have during this time of year. We really just can't have and do everything, right? There's still only 24 hours in a day, even during this magical time of the year, right? It doesn't actually extend the number of hours in the day. So I would encourage our listeners really just to think, are your expectations of yourself realistic? And can you maintain them? Are there any adjustments that you can make in what you're expecting yourself to do? And in addition to that, I think we have to also be aware of the expectations that we've put on other people during the holiday season, especially the people in our family of origin. Often we are unintentionally expecting our family members to live up to the expectations that we have of ourselves and of what we want for the holidays. Just like we want perfection for ourselves, we want the whole family to come together and be perfect and make these magical memories, and we want everybody to do what we want them to do. But really that's unfair, right? Because people have different desires and hopes and schedules during the holidays, and we can't always get what we want. And really with family of origin, right, when we all get together during the holidays, it tends to bring out all of our past stuff anyways. And so we have to have a realistic expectation of what we each bring to the table and be intentional about not putting our expectations on other people, and really learning how to communicate what you hope can happen instead of what you think should happen. And then being willing to receive what people can actually give you during this time and be joyful, right? That might mean you need to not get together on the actual day of Christmas because that doesn't work with everybody's schedule. Maybe you need to lower the bar of the price of presents that you're going to exchange, right? You just may have to make some adjustments with your family members. But really, when you make those adjustments and let other people show up in the ways they want to, it can create a lot more connection and you end up making better memories because everybody's not so pressured coming into it.
Mm-hmm. So true.
Yeah, yes, yes. I think as we adjust our expectations, then the follow up to that needs to be that we have to create some limits for ourselves, um, so that we can really live well during this time. And I don't know about you, Carol, but when I think of boundaries or limits, sometimes I focus on the word no, and that maybe gets me trapped, right? Because boundaries are not always only about no, they're really about saying yes to certain things and no to other things so that you have the energy to say yes to certain things. In reality, boundaries help us contain good things, so keep good things in, like our peace of mind and our values, and they limit our exposure to things that might be harmful to us emotionally. And these are really, really helpful to establish during the holiday season. So I encourage people really to think about, what is it, as you create boundaries, what is it that you want to give your energy to this holiday season? Right? Because energy is such a valuable commodity during the holidays. So you want to think about what's most important to me. Do you really value time with family? Maybe you really value giving presents. Maybe it's really important to you to do all of the faith traditions during this season. There's really not a wrong answer. It's really just thinking about what are the maybe 1 to 3 most important things to me that I want to focus on giving my energy to during the holidays. And then I have to limit my exposure and connection to some other things so that I can truly enjoy the things that are the most important to me. For me, I really want to spend time with my family and my closest friends. So that's what I focus on. And I like presents, but I don't let myself go overboard and buy a million presents and spend 20 hours a week at the mall trying to find the perfect gift. I'd rather show up with something small, like a card that I wrote a nice note in and a gift card, so that I can enjoy the moments with the people that I love the most instead of being busy and running around shopping all the time, because that's not what I value the most.
Mhm.
So I think that we can all create some limits. I limit my exposure to too much shopping and too many parties so that I can enjoy my family and my close friends. And then I think the natural fallout to these healthy expectations and healthy limits that we create is that we give ourselves the space to really be present in what is most important to us during the holidays. So this is really about being mindful and letting yourself fully be in the moment. Mindfulness is really about using our senses, our 5 senses, to be present in where we are in space and time, and allowing our thoughts and our worries and our stress to kind of fade into the background. And it's a really valuable way to enjoy the holiday season, really any season of the year. I've been reading this book. Carol, I don't know if you've read The Artist's Way. Have you ever read that book?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I just started going through it and it's fabulous. And last week, the same day that I was kind of preparing some notes for this, one of the focuses for the week was about being present and paying attention. And she had this wonderful quote that I wanted to share because I thought it was really powerful. The author of The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron, says, "The quality of life is in proportion always to the capacity for delight, and the capacity for delight is the gift of paying attention." So what she's saying is that if we will truly pay attention to the moment that we're in and be involved in it and connected to it with our 5 senses, we can always find something to delight in. There will always be something in the present moment that is pleasing to at least one of our senses. And so this is a great practice during the holidays, just to find small ways in those things that you want to give your time to really allow yourself to be present fully in the moment and connected using your five senses. One of the ways that I do that might seem kind of silly, but I really love holiday flavored coffee. It's so silly, but it's one of my favorite things. I don't know how you feel about flavored coffee, Carol. Some people don't like it, but I love it during the holidays only. So at least once a week, I try to take 20 minutes and go get a coffee, like a peppermint something or a pumpkin spice coffee. And I just give myself space wherever I am to fully enjoy it. So I look at the cup, they make the cute different colors of holiday cups during this time of year. So I look at the pattern on the cup. Usually they're really fun, and that brings delight to my eyes. And then I can feel the cup and the warmth of the cup with my hands. I can smell the coffee and the flavoring, and I can listen to the sound as I take a sip of the coffee. If I'm at the coffee shop, I can listen to the sound of them making the drinks. And then finally, I can taste it, right? All of those things bring a lot of delight. And what's wonderful is that when I do that, I'm so focused that whatever's on my mind, whatever work thing I need to deal with, or the presents that I still need to buy, I'm not worrying about that. I'm just there in the moment with myself, enjoying it. So I think being mindful is a really, really excellent way to add joy into your holiday season. You can do it with anywhere you are. You can do it looking at Christmas lights. You can do it while you're standing at a holiday party surrounded by people. And you can also do it just to help you calm down if you're already feeling stressed out. So those are just a few things that I think are really important to help us be present and limit our exposure and really focus our energy during this time.
Well, those are some excellent recommendations that we all can use. Another thing that's important to remember is that there's a direct link between our body and our brain. And with everything going on the holidays, we tend to let our healthy habits lapse. We need to make sure that we don't forget to take care of ourselves. It's definitely not a time of year where we need to be vigilant about what we eat. I mean, let's enjoy, but also, along with enjoying the feast with your loved ones, unfortunately, also we're rushing around trying to get ready for the holidays and forget to do the things that are important for both our brain and our body, starting with, and I don't know about you, Melissa, but when I'm running around shopping, I don't drink enough water, and I tend to find that it catches up with me.
It does.
So we need to make sure, and they used to say, I used to hear 90 ounces of water, and then I saw this thing that said 30 to 50% of your body weight in ounces. So I'm like, well, 90 ounces would be a whole lot more than I should be drinking. So maybe it's 40 to 60 ounces of water can help me stay, and especially in the wintertime. In Texas, you need more water in the summer than you do certainly in the winter, but making sure we do that. The other thing is we tend to eat unhealthy food because it's quick and easy. And as I've said, this is not a time to be too stressed about unhealthy eating, but the stress you put on yourself can be worse on your body than the unhealthy food. But just remember to ensure that you're trying to have a good mix of both healthy food and enjoying the season. And it also might be a good time to find some supplements to just offset the fact that some of the things you're eating aren't quite so healthy. So with all the extra stress we put on ourselves with wanting to make sure everything is perfect, we need to make sure that we're also getting our rest and we're still getting our exercise. We usually think about rest and exercise for the body, but don't forget that it's for the brain too. That's when your brain is going to rejuvenate, and it's also, you're going to get the endorphins from working out and make you feel better. So we need to ensure that we're being intentional. We get our water, we get our rest, we get the right foods when we need them, and we get our exercise. So paying attention to both your brain and your body is really equally important. If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't really be present for the holidays. So Melissa, thanks for joining me today. I always like spending time talking with you. Have a great holiday. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, leave a review, share it with your friends. And as always, take care of your mind and your body. And until next time, I'm Carol Caprio. Remember, take care of yourself first.